No mess equals no production. Oftentimes in business, we get very critical because we think everything should be perfect. We think everything should be smooth. Everybody should fall into line, do things how we want to do things. Our teams should work the way we want them to work. There should be no mistakes. Everything should be perfection. And I'm just here to tell you, it just doesn't exist. And you know me, I'm always, if you listen to the podcast, the Back to Me podcast, where we go deep into the self and the awareness, I will say I'm a frame changer. I want to change your frame. And this is a video where I want to change your frame around your business, because it's and I'll tell you a story that I always tell when I go into a company and I train their staff, whether it's 50, 20, 100, 200, 300 people. I always tell the same story about when I was in Las Vegas listening to a farmer and talk about his multi-million dollar business. So I'm going to change your frame today. If you're someone who's judging your business, you're critical of your business, you're critical of, you're self-critical about how you run things or how your team run things or how they don't follow through. Today is about shifting your frame to understand that if there's no mess, if there's no chaos, it means there's no production, no growth. And I want you guys to start embracing your chaos. I want you to embrace there's a great book also called Anti-Fragility. I think that's the name of the book. But I heard the guy speak actually at a conference who wrote the book. And he talked about the best predictor of bankruptcy is steady revenue. Isn't that crazy? Steady income. That's the best predictor of bankruptcy, of a business failing, is steady performance. And you might think, how does that make sense? That doesn't sound right at all. Well, when you hear the answer, or hear the reason why, it makes perfect sense. It's because if everything is steady, guess what? You don't have to become much. You don't have to grow. You don't have to be adaptable. You don't have to find a new gear, find a new level. You just get to tip away. And I see it with a lot of my business coaching clients, a lot of the owners who come to me, especially in partnerships. What happens is people get into this comfort zone. When business is good, they're making money, they're taking money home every month. You get comfortable. You don't have to become much. And I have lots of businesses I work with, and they're doing a couple of million a year, some of them tens of millions a year, and they're comfortable, but they're not comfortable. They're actually miserable because they're frustrated, because they think that chaos, first of all, is a sign that things aren't working, even though it is, and we're going to get to that in a second. Chaos is a big sign. But they find comfort in the chaos. That's the biggest problem. They don't realize the chaos is your communication, which is a chapter in my book, Back to Me. Your chaos is your communication. Again, we're changing the frame. Sometimes we think chaos is bad, but it's actually communication. Now, if we don't listen to it, we don't hear the message, and that chaos increases, it does become very bad. So I want you to recognize, first of all, though, that chaos is okay to a certain level. I want you to recognize that when you set an intention to do something, there's always a disruption. There's always chaos that's going to come, no matter what it is. When you decide to get healthy, it creates discomfort first, okay? Because you start eating healthy, you start cutting out coffee, you start cutting out carbs, you start cutting out sugar, cutting out processed food. Your body doesn't know what's happening. You feel like crap first. You start lifting weights, your body gets sore. You don't just suddenly turn jacked and look great. You feel sore, you feel terrible. Okay, you actually start to realize how bad you felt. When you start feeling better, you realize how bad you felt before. But until you got better, you didn't know how bad you felt. You just thought, this is how I feel. And then you feel better and you think, holy shit, this is actually way better. And that's what happens with my business clients. After the first session, they're like, they knew they needed improvement. That's why they brought me in, right? That's why they hired me. But they didn't realize how much room for growth. First thing I do with company owners or leaders in a company is, how do we communicate? How do we operate? We work on the mindset first. We get clarity. We give them access to new insights, to see things from a different perspective. And you're like, holy shit, we didn't realize how much further we could go. We didn't realize how slow we were going, how limited we were by how we operate, how we communicate, and what our frame is, how we see things. The chaos is a good thing, first of all, because it's communication. So again, the companies who don't have any ups and downs, they don't have to become much, don't have to grow. Money's coming in, they stay the same. And that's what this author of the Anti-Fragile, I think that was the name of the book, Anti-Fragile. When you go up and down through challenges, it means you have to become adaptable. You have to become flexible. You become more resilient. You grow. Same for me. And from 2010 to 2018, when I became an entrepreneur in 2010, I was trying to figure shit out for 8-9 years. And I had to go through massive highs and massive lows and crazy times of, oh my God, chaos. That's what made me who I am. That chaos shaped me. That's why to me now, doing my business is almost effortless. I can do it all day in my sleep. Doesn't matter if I'm jet lagged, if I hadn't slept, if I've flown across the world, if I've done day after day after day, I can still produce effortlessly because I've become so much. Because of all the work I've done on me, how I embraced the chaos, how I learned from the chaos, how I stayed curious in the chaos, made me resilient, adaptable, flexible, mobile. Now, I'm not mobile in terms of stretching. I need to work on that. And that's chaos. Now, my injury I have since the marathon has been chaos. It's been telling me you haven't been working where you need to work. So the chaos is a blessing. But do you follow through and do you listen? And I listen, and we all listen in some areas more than others. So I haven't been listening with my hip injury since the marathon, so I still have an injury, potentially. Okay, it hasn't healed as quickly as it could, or it shouldn't have got as bad as it got in the first place if I had done the things. It's the same in your business. The chaos is a blessing. The chaos is saying to you, something has to change. You have to grow. We have to do better. You have to communicate better. You have to lead better. You have to recognize and identify better. And that up and down will make you so resilient that all the time you do it and you get better, the dip becomes higher. The dip becomes higher. That's the mission. I call it raising the dip. Right now, your dip is into crisis because you're not doing the work on you. You're not being curious. Okay, I have another video, creativity versus commentary. Why you want to stay in creative mode instead of commentary mode. You could also call it curiosity versus complaining. Some of you guys are great at complaining. You're complaining about the chaos instead of recognizing that without that chaos, without the mess, it means you've no production. So I love when it gets chaotic because it means I have a business. So back to the story with the farmer in Las Vegas in 2015. And he was saying about all the crap he has to sweep up. Now, when I'm delivering it in a corporate environment, I tend to be a bit more explicit because it's just more fun that way. But for the sake of this being polite here, I won't, at the risk of offending anyone. But imagine when you own a farm, there's a lot of animals, and animals produce a lot of crap in the barn, right? And this guy was cleaning up all this crap all the time. And his frame was, all this crap I have to clean. It smells, I have to pick it up, And one day he had an awakening. He got an insight. Remember, I always talk about receiving insights. And he realized, wait a minute, I've been looking at this crap all wrong. This crap has come from where? The animals. The animals means he has what? A farm. The farm is also known as a business. The business also produces what? Say it with me. Income. Money. The money means he has what? A quality of life. A lifestyle. And he realized he was judging, complaining about this chaos, about this mess, about all the crap. And he realized that's exact representation of the success he's having. Because without the crap, he doesn't have the animals. Without the animals, he doesn't have the farm. Without the farm, he doesn't have a business. Without the business, he doesn't have the income. Without the income, he doesn't have the quality of life. Wow. Take a moment. Process that. Okay? Sit back and have a sip of water and digest that one. That's why if you've no production, you've no mess. But if you've productivity, there's going to be chaos. There's going to be a mess. So I want you to change the frame. When he told me that, I said, that's a great story. Because even then, I'm like, I wish things were easier. I wish I had this. I wish I had that. All this commentary. Instead of recognizing that the chaos represents production. The chaos represents creation. I'm being creative. I'm creating something. When you create something, my father was a carpenter. When he created something, when he made something, guess what there was? A mess. When he was building a bar out next to the house years ago, and he built this amazing bar, O'Brien's Bar. I shouldn't have told you because you'll all be coming to my house now for years. It was a mess. When he was working, building houses and building different things and creating different things and making things out of wood, it created a mess. Now, if he sat at home on the couch, there would have been no mess, right? But he wouldn't have produced anything. So the mess means production. The chaos means creativity. And I want you to recognize that. I want you to change your frame because I'm a hashtag frame changer. You remember? Frame changer leads to game changer. I want you to change the frame. I want you to embrace your mess. I want you to be curious about it. So like I always say to my business owners, what's it telling us? What do we need to change? How do we grow? What do we need to do differently? But let's not look down on it. Let's not get stuck in commentary mode, complaining mode, making conclusions, closing doors. Let's open the door to possibility. What can we do different? How can we be better? And let's be grateful for the mess. Because without it, it means you're not producing anything, you're not creating anything. And if you're not creating something, you've nothing to connect with people with. So creativity leads to connection. Without the connection, guess what? There's no exchange of value, no exchange of money, money. None of it. So if you want to exchange, you have to connect. And if you want to connect, you have to have something created to give as part of the connection. Because even if you're in a relationship, you've created something of who you are, and you connect with a person, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, your wife, and you exchange the love, the trust, the relationship, the support, the encouragement, the friendship, all the stuff you do, the love making, all those great things. But if you didn't have the ability, the awareness, the insight, the growth of who you are as a human, you wouldn't even be able to exchange with your partner. And some of you can't find a partner. And maybe that's a hint, because maybe you haven't created anything lately in yourself. Maybe you haven't become much. Maybe you've been waiting for something to arrive, like Santa or the Easter Bunny to deliver your loved one, Cupid to fly in the window and drop your loved one in, instead of saying, I have to create something within myself that's valuable, that I can go out to the market, to the world, connect with people and create an exchange. Some of you guys always want to just receive, but you realize you have to give. Giving is to improve the art of receiving, start giving. We are creative beings. We are meant to create. But if you create, there's going to be chaos. If you're a carpenter, if you're a metalwork person, if you're an electrician, you ever have the plumber at the house, electrician, there's chaos. But they create something. They wire the house, they create light. They pipe the house, they create water coming in and out, hot and cold, taking away the waste. Go on any building site, they're building a house, there's chaos, there's a mess. It means there's production. You drive by in Dubai here, there's loads of pieces of land that didn't get finished. The production stopped. Guess what? There's no mess. It's very clean there. It's empty. You look around the building site, on my way in my estate, they're building a new retail area, and there's chaos every day because they're creating. And I could judge the chaos, like, why is there chaos? But they're creating something. They're producing something. Now there's going to be more shops, restaurants where I live, okay, in my area that I can benefit from. Wow. It seems so obvious, doesn't it? Like, it's a wow moment. No matter which way you slice it, upside down, it's wow. So obvious when you think about it. Like, what have I been complaining about? If I'm going to produce something, there's going to be chaos. There's going to be crap in the barn. But you've been so busy judging and thinking, I wish there was no crap. How do we get rid of the crap? No, you want different levels of crap. You need bigger problems. I say it to companies all the time. Sales guys. I deal with some real estate guys out in here in Dubai. I'm like, you need bigger problems. You need bigger problems. Some of your problems are so small. Bigger problems mean bigger solutions. It means bigger exchange of value, which means bigger willingness for people to recognize you as someone who can add value, which means a bigger willingness for people to add value by adding money into your pocket. That's how they add value back to you, your clients. But they have to recognize you are valuable. But because you have small problems, you bring a small solution, and it's a small solution, you can't reach big people, or you can't reach people who are willing to pay for that solution because it's too small. And therefore you can't get paid big because your solution is small, because your problems are small. You might need to listen back to that 2 or 3 times. Change the frame. When I have chaos, I'm like, I love it. I have so much business. I'm so busy. I have so much things happening because I have a business. I'm productive. I'm producing. And I want you to produce. I want you to produce. And I want you to embrace the chaos. I want you to recognize that when you get productive, when you get into creative mode, there's going to be some mess. Things aren't going to be perfect. And remember, that's going to make you more adaptable. It's going to make you learn, develop, enhance. You want to be enhanced. You want to seek mastery. You can't seek mastery when things are just steady all the time. It's like stressors. Like when you go to the gym, you have to stress the muscle by lifting against a resistance. When you stress it, it helps it grow. It's so, right? You know that. Like, it's obvious. When you lift weights, you're lifting against a resistance, which helps you grow, helps the muscle grow. Your body's built, you're literally built like that. Literally how your whole body is, the protein, how it works, the muscle, how it grows against when you stimulate the muscle. It's the same. Why you think it works for your whole body, but it doesn't work for your mind and your spirit and everything else. Resistance helps you grow. It's a stimulation. It's a stimulus for your growth. That's why the author of Anti-Fragile, he says the best predictor of bankruptcy is steady. There's steady income because there's no stimulus. There's no resistance. So they don't have to grow. They don't have to become much. And I love when I see entrepreneurs that I work with and they stick with it. I had a girl recently and she's having a tough time in real estate. She stuck with it. Now she had the biggest sale she's ever had so far. She's top of the leaderboard. And I can imagine how she feels today. Like, oh, what? Like, I barely got something with all of my effort. Like, how valuable is that? How proud is she that she didn't give up? Who has she become on that journey? And I said that to her recently. Keep going because of who you're becoming, not what you're getting. Don't ask, what do I get? Ask, how far can I go? Ask, who can I become? Now you become priceless. Now you become so valuable that what took you a lot to get a little, you only need to do a little to get a lot. And that's why most owners, leaders, they fall short. They keep working on the job instead of working on themselves. I love this. I could talk all day. I wish you were all here and I could talk to you and see your face. Let me know in the comments if this is making sense. Let me know what's hitting home for you. Let me know what's standing out. So it's time to shift your perspective. Change your perception. Your perception changes your perspective. It's time to shift your perception. How you perceive things, how you read things, how you interpret things, how you give meaning to things. I did that in a speaking video. I talked about your vocabulary. When you have a limited vocabulary, you have a limited way of understanding things, because you can only understand things based on the words you have, which you understand the meaning of. So when I could talk a lot of words that you don't understand, you wouldn't get the meaning of what I'm saying because you wouldn't have the understanding of the words, right? Think about that. If I used all these words you didn't know the meaning of, you wouldn't understand what I'm saying. The reason you understand what I'm saying is because you understand the words that I'm speaking. So it's up to me to speak words you can understand, but it's up to you to know the words. So your vocabulary helps you understand. And the better you understand things, okay, the stronger you come, the smarter you become, the better you get, you can understand more and more and more. And less things take, you become more valuable, which means you have to use less of you to get a bigger result. At the beginning, you need to use all of you because you're not so much. So you need to use everything to get a little result. But when you become more, like you add to your vocabulary, you add to your awareness, you add to your leadership, you add to your influence, you become more skillful, you become more resilient, more adaptable. You learn how to navigate through the world. You become so powerful and a giant, you only need a little bit. Boom. And it creates such a catalyst to receive a huge amount. You get what I'm saying? And that's why you have to work on all aspects of yourself so you can learn to understand more, to read things more. That's why you have to, again, why I said in the speaking video about the vocabulary, because the better the vocabulary you have, the more you can understand things. The better scope you have, the more reach you can have, the more people you can influence. Okay? I had another point in my head and it's after going out of my head now. And when I went back on the vocabulary, it threw me off. But that's okay. Because I'm producing, sometimes it's just chaos. You can't be found if you don't get lost. So let me know which resonates with you. Let me know what stands out to you in this video. I love hearing from you. I want to know what you're going to do. I want to know what you're going to apply. I want to know if it makes sense. I want to know if you're going to be more productive. I want to know if you're going to be in creative mode. Again, when you get in creative mode, you're going to connect with more people. When you connect with more people, you bring more value to the marketplace. Now you can receive more. Now you can be paid more. Now you can earn more. Now you can grow your business to a higher level. Okay, but it all starts with you. It all comes back to you, your willingness. It's not your capability, it's your willingness. It's always about your willingness. It's never about your capability. You can do way more. Okay, even with the words, you can learn new words so you can understand more. You can develop yourself so you can understand more. So what are you going to work on now? How are you going to change your frame? You have to reflect on this. You have to reflect on this. And now I remember the point I was going to say. I was talking about your perception changes your perspective. When you grow and you develop, your perception shifts. So that affects how you see things. Thank God it came back to me. Do you ever know when you forget something, you know it comes back? And when you try to think of it, you can't think of it. But when you go somewhere else, it comes back. So the reason I went talking about the vocabulary is as you become more diverse in your vocabulary and your field of interest, it shifts your perception. You become more aware. You become more awake, which means you're more aware of what you're giving meaning to and how you're giving meaning to it. And as you grow, the way you give meaning to things changes, therefore your perspective changes, therefore your frame changes. And if your frame changes, your feeling changes because your frame creates your feeling. That's why I'm a frame changer. I want to change how you feel because before actions come feelings. So if you want to change, you don't like your results, you have to change your actions. You don't like your actions, you got to change your feelings. And for you to change your feelings, you got to change your frame. And your perception is what creates your frame. The meaning of things is what creates your frame. So if you have a frame that mess equals bad, instead of mess equals productivity, instead of chaos equals creativity, that's a poor frame. That's going to keep you stuck, keep you small. I want you to play big. I want you to play big. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one.